Trial up today, a little bit less clarity today. Set up to fish this mega crawl, Fox Rage mega crawl, a little bit slower. Got a 10-gram jig head on, got it pointed down so it should nosedive a little bit still. Perseverance this morning. We've had a big old switch in temperature, where we've had 15 degrees as of recent. We're down to about 3, I think, this morning, so quite a swing. Just a case of checking the margins, and then we're going to start casting out a little bit further. On its way down, its tails, or its claws in this case, are going pretty wild. Bit of movement, pretty alluring for a pike. Definitely looks like a fish falling. And then once it's on the bottom, we can either go with a few slow retrieves, we can pause and go a bit faster, we can let it sink right back down to the bottom again. There's a shelf around about where I am now, and that's something I need to be careful of, but it is a great place for fish to be hanging out. Once we're on the bottom, again, I can give it a few quick whips, get those tails really going, and then just let it sink right back down to the bottom if I want. We can also go with some fairly wafty retrieves, some short retrieves, short turns the reel, slightly longer pauses to give the bait chance to kind of suspend and start dropping in the water. That can really give good reaction bites. Sometimes you'll find that those pauses can be where you get a lot of your hits, or those changes in kind of pace and appearance can be where you get a lot of your hits. Just really hoping that I get fish on that kind of passive drop. It saves me effort, and you know that the fish are feeding well when they hit the bait with very little action to it, just on the drop. Nice and steady, not letting it drop right down. Something, you know, you don't necessarily need to be fishing on the bottom. I like fishing near the bottom, but if the fish are feeding, pike usually hit from underneath. They'll usually hit the bulk of your bait, so actually not fishing right on the bottom can be a good approach, though I do find the bottom to be a great place to start. It lets me keep some depth in my fishing, especially on a venue like this where in the middle it's about 16 to 18 feet, so I like to get it down, and then we'll be aiming to fish it between kind of 10 and 12 feet on the way in. And then just as we get a little bit closer, like where I am now, I'll usually be fishing around about 3 feet under. We kind of go onto a shelf on the depth of the water drops from that kind of 10 or 12 feet a little bit further out to around about 5 or 6, which can be great for pike fishing in the spring or in the autumn. But in the winter, when it does get a little bit colder, they do tend to hold a little bit deeper. So I do think I'm going to struggle to catch anything if I don't change my tactics and start fishing the deeper water. And I think that's the kind of important thing that comes with experience and knowledge of the water, is just when you need to change up how you're fishing. And that could be different lure, that could be different weight, that could be different size, it could be different pattern, or it could just be fishing the same lure that you've been fishing slightly differently. Some movement around there then, small fish. So I'm not gonna move on so fast. I'm gonna cast out a little bit further, let my bait sink down, and hope that there's some pike hanging around this area feeding on those smaller fish, or at least feeding on fish that other fish are feeding on, those small fish that are feeding on those small fish. That was a hit. That was a hit. Slightly lighter lure now in the Fox Rage Pro Grub. Yes. Oh, hey. Pop me off. Dropping down to the 16 centimeter, perhaps the right call, but confidence booster. I try and actually catch one now, shall we? Unexpected, right close in like that. But these are all spots that we've run bigger lures through already and see nothing. So the 16 centimeter is feeling promising. If I get a little bit closer to the edge, I can potentially stop them heading into that margin section a little bit easier. And usually when they kind of run in, they run alongside the margin, try and dig in. That one launched himself right up onto some of the weeds, span out and spat the hook. I mean, fair play on him, and got away, but it would have been nice to have actually have landed that one. Really aggressive, really hard hitting though. So that could be a promising sign that actually the fish are feeding. We just needed that downsize. Yes, we're in again. Dropping down, definitely the right call. It's a pike. Got pike, try and keep the tension there spinning out today. Nice start with a small little pike. I'm going to get this guy back super quick. We're going to see if we can catch another. Dropping down to that 16 centimeter has definitely been the right call. That's the second fish hit within about 5 minutes. Pike right behind him. Not that interested. We're just gonna. No, he's gone. He's gone. Sometimes when you get those follows, those nice lethargic, slow follows, couple of options: do nothing, keep your bait ridiculously still, just in the water, and just wait for them to get curious enough to have a smash. Or, depending on how aggressive the fish are, you can really just proper twitch it close to the surface. You can cause those splashes, you can cause the disturbance, and sometimes that's enough to get you the fish. Ooh, that was a good fish. Why did you whip it out so quickly, you lemon? So yeah, nice little section here in front that pike like to hang out in, especially when it gets a bit busier. Tighten that drag just a little bit. It's taking that well. Try and maintain some tension on that. Scoop this one in quickly. Nice. Well guys, that is probably the best one we've had today. Lovely fish. We're going to get him straight back. Oh, there's a Zander then. Got one now. Zander. Just a little Zander.